Melissa Marie Berry, December 3rd, 1973, and I was born in Alexandria, Virginia. My parents were James and Donna Carabin. I have one brother who is older. We had our ups and downs, as with any family. We had our struggles and difficulties, but they were very loving and very caring. We have a really strong bond even today. I have 3 sets of grandparents. My one set on my mother's side, they were very sweet, very maternal, would do anything for anybody at the drop of a hat, never complain. My grandmother was the Sunshine Secretary, so she always wrote cards to people who were either sick or a birthday or anniversary. And my grandpa was a clown, so he loved to entertain kids. My other grandparents, my dad's dad and his wife, he was a little bit more stern, a little bit rough around the edges, but I know he loved us. And then my dad's mother, she was very kind and loved us so incredibly much, as well as her husband. Just very sweet. Had a hard life, and you could tell, but she was always very kind to us. My mother's parents were from Youngstown, Ohio, and then as well as the other grandparents were also from Youngstown, Ohio. A lot of my mom's side of the family came over from Yugoslavia and Serbia and Bosnia and Croatia. And some even fled from there way back when, just to get away from some of the oppression. My dad's side of the family, we're not exactly sure, but it's Eastern European as well, some Polish, some Croatian, there's even some German in there. So we're not too sure about their history, but my mom's side we know more about.
I was born October 19th, 1970. At Fort Belvoir Army Base in Virginia. My parents were Jim and Donna Carabin, and they were born in Youngstown, Ohio. My family, well, I had one younger sister, and so there was just 4 of us. We always had a dog. We grew up in a single-family house in a cul-de-sac in a nice neighborhood. My dad had a regular full-time job, so he was gone from the house sort of, 8 o'clock in the morning. They came home at 6 o'clock at night. My mother was a registered nurse who worked part-time when we were growing up, and so she had a part-time job at a pediatrician's office. So my mom was mostly home all the time and took care of us and was the homemaker, and my dad worked. We came home at a very regular time every night. I remember we always had dinner at 6 o'clock every night, and so we always ate together as a family. It was very nice. It was a small family, but very, very tight-knit family. Oh, my sister was adorable. She was just the cutest thing ever. We were almost 3.5 years apart, and so we never really had the same friends and did the same stuff, but we always played together growing up and played sports. She played the same kind of sports that I did, so we always had very similar experience playing sports and played a lot together at home. But she was just a really sweet, lovely kid. I had 3 sets of grandparents because my dad's parents got divorced when I was a little tiny baby boy. And so I had a step-grandmother and a step-grandfather because they both got remarried. And those are my dad's parents. And my mom's parents were together for, over 50 years until my grandfather passed. But my mom's parents were very sweet, church-going people, very sort of calm and loving and sweet, and really always doting on us. And they're really the same for my dad's. My dad's dad had been in the Navy, and so he was a little bit more of a sort of a gruff guy, but he was always very sweet to me. And my dad's mom, my grandma Gloria, she was a real sweet lady. She always had, I remember her, she always had white hair. But she was a real sweet lady as well. I think the oldest family member that I can remember would have been my great-grandmother, Lucy. It's funny. I remember her just being very old. I don't remember her very well from personality, but she was this little, tiny, little over, hunched over, white hair, little old lady with glasses. She passed away when I was 10, so I don't remember her very well as a personality, but I just remember her being very sweet and very old. My grandparents were all from Ohio. They are all second generation, so their parents were born in Europe, but they were born in America in Ohio.
Were your parents religious?
Yes, my parents were very religious.
And what religion?
Orthodox Christian.
What was it like growing up in the Orthodox faith?
It was really kind of cool because we were very church-going people, so we went to church all the time. And so I had lots of guy friends and some girlfriends, but mostly I remember playing with my guy friends from church. We used to go every Sunday to church, but then we also would go on the weekends to help take care of the grounds and mow the lawns, and we had charity events during the week that we used to volunteer to do, and so we were at church all the time. It was really sort of a fun cultural place to be because all of the people from our church came from Eastern Europe, from Serbia mostly. So a lot of interesting cultural events, lots of picnics and fundraisers, but also the church was really nice to be in because my great uncle was our parish priest. So I always had a very nice connection to him and would serve as an altar boy. So the family history is that on my mom's side of the family, everybody comes from Eastern Europe, mostly from Serbia and Croatia. And then on my dad's side of the family, there is some German heritage and some Slovak heritage. So that's a little bit more in Western Europe, but basically from both sides of the family are from East and Western Europe.
Donna Carabin. I was born in Youngstown, Ohio on August 29, 1947. My mother was Mary, and her maiden name was Milasnovich. My dad was Edward Phillips, and she was born in Youngstown in 1919, and he was born in Irwin, Pennsylvania in 1918. I was with my cousin a lot, my cousin Janice, and then we got to be close in our relationship when she got married. She still lived nearby, and for whatever reason, we became close after that. My parents were very loving, and my mom was the disciplined one, and my dad would follow up on what she said. Sometimes I'd go to him for a second opinion, but he kind of stuck with what she said. But I remember growing up happy. My mom was ill with various health problems most of the time, but she still did everything she could to help. And then we had a lot of family support from my grandmother and a couple aunts. My cousins, too, were just a few blocks away, and they were a big help to my older sister and myself. I have one older sister named Nadine. She was 5 years older than me. And that was kind of a lot of years. And so we were together as a family, but we didn't play together stuff. She had girlfriends her age, and then I think that my one grandfather would be the oldest one, and he probably was born in early 1890s, and that's my grandfather, Steve. He was big, and he was strong, and he was quiet. He smiled around us kids all the time, and he was very good to us, but he didn't talk a lot, but he was a good man and a hard worker. He worked on the railroad, and even when he retired, he took on another job and was a landscaper. He was also, I guess between the railroad and that, he and my grandmother owned a small inn and restaurant, diner type thing in a little town in Pennsylvania called Enon Valley. And he worked so hard there that I can remember seeing him falling asleep, standing up, leaning against the wall. My grandfather was born in Bosnia in Europe, and my grandmother was born in Pennsylvania. And she was born in 1900, and her name was Sarah, but she liked people to call her Sally. She got married at a very young age and had 5 sons. Was a smart woman. She also worked very hard because they ran a small hotel in Aloquippa, Pennsylvania. I don't think they owned it. I think they just managed it. And so there was a lot of physical labor involved with that. She was very loving, and she was one of those that laughed easy, but she was a wonderful cook and a good baker. We had birthdays together. with my other grandmother, my mother's mother, and that part of the family in Youngstown. So every birthday for every member of the family was cake and ice cream. It wasn't any bigger than that. You know what? I don't even remember presents, but I do remember us getting together for that and holidays. Some of the family was a little far spread, and so when they came to town, say from Alma, Kansas, Uncle Nick and Aunt Bonnie would come in, and it was very exciting and delightful.